Blackstone Audiobooks presents A History of the Arab Peoples by Albert Hourani. The book is dedicated to my colleagues and students at St. Antony's College, Oxford. Preface. The subject of this book is the history of the Arabic-speaking parts of the Islamic world from the rise of Islam until the present day. During some periods, however, I have had to go beyond the subject. For example, when I consider the early history of the Caliphate, the Ottoman Empire, and the expansion of European trade and empire. It would be possible to argue that the subject is too large or too small, that the history of the Maghrib is different from that of the Middle East, or that the history of the countries where Arabic is the main language cannot be seen in isolation from that of other Muslim countries. A line has to be drawn somewhere, however, and this is where I have chosen to draw it, partly because of the limits of my own knowledge. I hope the book will show that there is sufficient unity of historical experience between the different regions it covers to make it possible to think and write about them in a single framework. The book is intended for general readers who wish to learn something about the Arab world, and for students who are beginning to study the subject. It will be clear to specialists that, in a book with so large a scope, much of what I say is based upon the research of others. I have tried to give the essential facts and to interpret them in the light of what others have written. Some of my debts to their work are indicated in the bibliography. I should like to thank Patrick Seal, who encouraged me to write this book and arrange for it to be published, and the friends who gave many hours to reading it, correcting mistakes, and suggesting how it could be improved: Patricia Crone, Paul Dresch, Leila Fawaz, Cornell Fleischer, the late and much-lamented Martin Hines, Charles Isawi, Tarif Khalidi, Philip Khoury, Ira Lapidus, Wilfred Madelung, Basim Musalam, Robin Ossel, Roger Owen, Michael Rogers, and Mary Wilson. Among them I owe a special debt to Paul Dresch, who followed my line of thought with remarkable insight as well as wide knowledge. Other friends and colleagues provided me with information I needed, among them Julian Baldick, Karl Barbier, Turkan Ganjay, Israel Jashoni, and Venetia Porter. I am most grateful to Elizabeth Bullock, who typed successive drafts with devotion and skill, to my editors at Faber and Faber, Will Sulkin and John Bodley, to John Flower, who drew the map.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?